We all do. We all do.
Please stand on the stage. Is this okay?
Yeah.
1:30?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. I'd like to introduce you to Bill Anderson. He's our, what's your exact title? Director of Construction. And then we have Tom Lovelace. He's with the window company. So Consolidated Windows. So very happy that you're both here today. They're going to explain mainly Building 4, what's happening with the window installation in Building 4. But if you had some questions, perhaps Bill may be able to answer what's going to happen for the other buildings. I'll turn it over.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? So yes, this is the long-awaited window replacement project that I think we placed the windows back in May of last year originally, and we ended up having to go to a different manufacturer because the original manufacturer couldn't meet dates, and second manufacturer took long as well. With the crisis that's going on in the market these days, all construction products, it's taken a while, but they're here now and we're ready to start. I don't know if any of you had noticed that we put in a couple mock-up windows in the guest suite on the first floor of Building 4. Tom, along with our envelope consultant, worked on the details on how we're going to install these, make sure we're getting watertight installations. So those were installed, sealed. We talked with the manufacturer of the sealant we're using, and they only really required 7 days of cure time before we could test the windows. So we tested them with certain ASTM testing standard for windows, residential windows. It's called a chamber test, and it actually encapsulates the window in the surrounding areas and puts the design pressure, correct me if I'm wrong there, right? You create the design pressure of the window, which the design pressure of the window has to meet code. And then they put water on it, so it's the worst case scenario that a window can go through, unless it's a hurricane, I guess. But so the window passed last Friday, was the testing? It was done last Friday, and so now we are ready to start, and wanted to meet with you all and talk through our proposed process of doing this to hopefully make it as painless as possible. But this type of work, unfortunately, it's going to involve some of your help and cooperation as we come in and out of your units. So I'll let Tom is with CWS, Consolidated Window Services. He's done a number of our projects for Westminster over the past 10, 15 years or more. He's done where we've had to go into skilled nursing facilities and coordinate his access within patient rooms, taking patients out for an hour or two and back in. So he's been through our process of trying to coordinate as best as possible without the least interruptions, keeping everybody happy, hopefully. So Tom has your sons work with you, and Tom himself, you'll see probably out here quite a bit too. So just take us through a one-day operation, kind of, Tom, how this will work, please.
Okay, I've got
37 years experience, probably 95% of my work has been retrofit type, so it's been occupied facilities. We're actually gonna start on that ground floor and try to work with the EPIS contractor so that we're not disrupting folks any more than we have to. So when they're in there doing the wall replacement, we can do the window replacement. So we're gonna be kind of coordinating between the first and the second floor. I need access into the unit to cut some screws that attach the trim back and face the window. Once I've done that, we can leave the unit. We need to be outside. I've got to remove the caulking on the exterior side, and then we have to cut a flange that's back in there. That's how the original windows were attached. So once we remove that flange, then that window just comes right out. We are going to be taking the blinds down on the interior side, and then of course we can put them back as soon as we get the new window in. So I've got to run a interior caulk bead on the inside, and also we have to fasten the windows in at the same time. So we're probably going to be somewhere, in a 30-minute range per window. So we're going to start off with 5 a day, see how that goes, and then if we can work our way up to 10, then that's what we like to do.
You're talking 10 windows?
10 windows a day. So we'll have booties on when we go into units. We're using a vacuum cleaner when we go to cut the screws off on the interior side so we can clean up our mess. We're just gonna need about 3 feet of access to the window to be able to do what we need to do. Majority of our mess is exterior side. So it's really gonna be painless. Yes?
Who moves the furniture that is not 3 feet or 4 feet from the area you're working?
All right, the question is who moves the furniture? Jonathan? It will be coordinated. Sure.
Did you say the cycle time is 30 minutes? They got put in?
Somewhere thereabouts. And then, of course, I've got to rod it on the exterior side and then caulk it, so.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, well, it's really a relatively easy window to install. So we've got some fasteners that go in through the jamb on the interior side, and we're shimming from the exterior side. So, and then of course, the majority of it is cutting out, which is from the exterior side. So I may want to jump ahead and remove caulking and try to cut and have things prepared for the following day. So I'll let you know though, so you can have your blinds shut in case you don't want me looking at it.
I have a question, can I be recognized? The question I have is, we have exterior windows and we have windows going along the walkways in the courtyard areas. Will they be trying to do all of those windows in 1 day or 2 days? Or will they come back at a later time and do the courtyard windows?
Well, the courtyard windows are like the kitchen windows, correct?
Yeah. And dining room.
Well, we can go ahead and take care of that at the same time when we're in the unit, so we can be
So
in there all at one time.
that furniture needs to be moved back too.
Yes.
And then one last question, and I'll leave you alone. There's a little window underneath the movable windows.
They've got
Will
it.
that little window stay?
No.
Not on
No.
the first floor.
First-
They will on the second and third floor.
I'm on the 3rd floor, so they would stay.
Yes.
And the Venetian blinds would.
Would you clarify again on the second and third floor? There's 2 windows, 2 little small windows on either side of the big window. Are those little windows staying?
Everything gets replaced.
The transom windows?
Everything with glass in it gets
You're
replaced.
not replacing the two small windows, or shutting them off?
Not, on the ground floor, they get closed off.
The ground floor, fine, but
Second and third, they're gonna stay.
they're gonna stay.
Yeah, so they do get replaced though.
They do get rid of it.
To be clear, we're talking about 2 different things. So on the first floor, there are 2 windows above and below the bigger window. The top window will be staying, or, excuse me, will be replaced. The bottom window will be mudded over. That will then be part of the exterior surface. On the second and third floor, both the window below and above the big window will be replaced with another window, not with drywall.
One. So it's-
Right, and it's replaced with one full one from the top to the bottom.
So you're getting new blinds.
Yeah, the blinds will have to be changed on the all the windows.
No. No, we won't be damaging them, we're just gonna take the clips, remove them, and then put them right back.
But the window will be long and we have 3 sections to it.
Oh,
Yes, we talked about that. So because there are variations of what that looks like, some units have where the blind went from the tall window all the way past the divider down to the lower window, and some people have a specific blind for the lower window. So that will be, once we go through there and do that, then we will be ordering blinds to mitigate that problem.
yes.
Jonathan, as you bring about the state, there's some people who moved in early, under the old system, and they installed balances, and they installed heavy trays. So, can you take the trim off in the interior without taking the balances off and the heavy trays?
They're gonna do the best that they can. We want to avoid trying to take those off. I know we've got a situation, I think up in building 2 on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
She's made us very well of our situation, and we've already, had discussions about how we're gonna handle that. And I think we talked about that in our committee meeting last week.
Any questions for Jonathan, I guess, go ahead and finish it up.
What about the doors on the first floor?
Replaced.
Doors.
The patio doors on the 1st floor are being replaced,
Yes, the whole door.
the whole door. Did you only want half your door
Including the
replaced?
fixed light on either side.
Okay. French doors.
Both of them will be replaced, because one of them's already loose.
Mhm.
French doors.
Well, you're in a different unit, you're not in building 4, correct?
Thank goodness.
Okay, so,
Beeson Building 2, yes.
So you're replacing the picture windows and the standard windows,
yes,
All the windows.
and all of those have already.
The only difference is on the 1st floor, that lower little window on only the 1st floor will not be replaced with a window, it will be mudded over and match the exterior.
Okay, my other
What's it
question,
gonna do inside?
my other
We've got
question,
that.
Drywall,
Drywall?
yes ma'am.
my other question, when you replace the patio door, you are not taking away my screen door, right?
Thinking away.
Because.
I think, well, we had that situation with.
what building are you in?
3.
We had that situation previously, we're ready for that nowadays. We had that with your neighbor, 3101, a year ago or so. So no, we will be replacing your screen door when that comes.
So I will still.
We'll be taking it off most likely and then be reinstalling it once the new door is installed.
I'm holding you to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Please keep in mind, Tom is here to discuss building 4 windows, but we invited all the apartment residents. A different vendor is doing building 3, 2, and 1.
I have a question.
Building 4?
I'm on the 2nd floor. I'm the only person in here who's had all this stuff moved in and out and so forth. When you come to fix the windows, who's gonna move my furniture around? And are they gonna do one room at a time? Or are they gonna have several people working at the same time?
We're gonna try to do 5 windows a day, and we may pick that speed up. So we're gonna need,
5 windows a day.
yeah, we'll need access to 5 openings.
Who's gonna be moving the furniture?
We'll be assisting with that, and you have shoring, and other units have shoring in it also.
Well, I have the shoring problem, which I was told yesterday by the contractor, that they would be removing the shoring next week.
Yeah, we met with, you and your wife, 2 weeks ago, and discussed.
Well, they can't put, can they put the windows in while the shoring is there?
Yes,
And we'll work with you to help make that happen.
So you can start putting the windows in while it's already messed up.
we'll make you first.
When they come to remove the shore. Amen.
Yes, sir.
Question on building 4, so that's where our cages are located. So are you going to get the windows in the cage rooms so we can get our stuff back into our cages?
We have it in a Connex trailer out in the storage area, which is across the street here, and we bring over what we're gonna be using that day, and anything.
No, I'm talking about our storage area, where we as residents put our stuff.
You have your stuff out of there right now?
Yeah, we back out the cages next to the wall.
That has nothing to do with the windows.
It's gonna be like everywhere else. There's two projects going on, right? There's the exterior renovations and the structural renovations, and there's windows. So if the windows finish before the EIFA is prepared, then no, your storage area will not be ready. If the windows happen after the storage repair on the structural, then yes, your storage area would be ready to go back to the way it was. So there's two projects.
What do you predict will happen first?
Sir, I don't-
Get that window done.
Yeah.
When you put the framing back together.
I predict 5 windows a day.
This is for building 4, second and third floor. Can you give the residents in the apartments a 2-day notice that you're gonna be going into their apartment so they're not surprised in the
Absolutely.
morning? Surprised by somebody knocking on the door and saying we gotta start?
Right, and I know that y'all's schedule will change, so,
Yeah.
we'll work with y'all.
So is today a 2-day notice to start Monday?
Tom and I will be in, since I'm the one on the campus, Tom and I will be in constant communication at the end of every working day. And if anything changes, then we'll make you aware the day before, right? Like, you'll know, for example, that we're coming to your unit tomorrow. Well, let's say they get 6 windows done, and we're coming tomorrow, we're gonna get 4 done, then we're gonna get more done. You'll know the night before. There won't be surprises.
Go ahead.
Will you do all of the first floor and then all of the second floor, or how, or will you do an apartment?
It's probably gonna be both, trying to be flexible for you all. So, sounds like one of the first ones we want is, what's it, unit 4212? 4212? We have shoring in there.
Yeah, 4212.
So, we can start there, we can start the storage unit.
And then wherever they've started on the ground floor, we wanna kinda work with the EIFS contractor down there, so we're not in there more than we have to be.
So you don't have a pattern of where you're gonna work from the bottom up or from the top down? You're gonna be random?
Yes.
Is that,
Well, no, the intent would be to go from 1 to 3, but it sounds like there might be some, we have to.
there'll be special circumstances?
Yes.
But generally speaking, you're gonna work from the first floor to the second floor to the third floor?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Who's next?
I have a typical first floor, 2-bedroom apartment, so I have 5 windows and a door. Do I understand correctly that you would then be in my apartment all day for 1 day?
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is plan on doing the doors last on the project. So we wanna get in window mode, and continue at 5 a day.
So
And
we
then
have
we'll come
5.
back and do all the doors.
Okay, so I would need to have my dog out of my apartment all day that day you're in there.
Only if he bites.
She would bite you? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't need to speak.
Okay, I'm on the 3rd floor. I have 18 windows.
Yeah.
What happens if it rains?
Well, we do have the weather channel, which is not always so reliable, but we know to stop. So before we pull that unit, we can be prepared to stop or carry Visqueen with us or a tarp. But we're not gonna have that issue.
But it could take you a whole week then to do 18 windows if we get bad weather.
Yeah, it could shut me down for a week, yes.
There's nothing we can do about the weather, right? Like, we let it control what we can control, and let God control what He's gonna control.
How long does it take to set up this interior wall?
The interior wall,
Yeah. Am I understanding this correctly?
no,
There's, how, are you hanging plastic or are you putting an interior wall?
not for the windows.
Not for the
The window
windows.
project, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, for the windows, there are some units that have windows in the, primary bedroom, in the closet, the primary bedroom. Are we gonna take the clothes up, you're gonna provide boxes to put clothes in, so you can do that? Ultimately,
There's windows in the closet.
in building two there is anyway. So I assume it was the same.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't foresee any dust. What he's doing is he's cutting nails and then popping the window out, putting the new window in, and then we're off and running. So we don't foresee anything like what we're doing now, where there might be drywall dust and that sort of thing. It's gonna be a very clean in and out. And they have vacuum cleaners with them while they're cutting. So we don't foresee a reason to empty your closet, for example.
I think I was next. I was wondering, what kind of equipment are you gonna use to reach up to the second and to the third floor?
Snorkel lift.
Okay, well, wouldn't it be easier just to do second floor, then reach up and do the third floor right after that?
Keeps me from running over the grass multiple times.
Right.
Yeah, It is easier.
You get through quicker because you wouldn't be.
Right.
But on the inside, on the first floor, which thank God I don't live there, but if you are gonna be putting sheetrock back where that lower window is, there will be, you know, taping and finishing and sanding for that, unless you use the wet sanding method, which I don't know whether you're.
That will be done in concurrent with the framing repair project. That contractor is gonna be doing that replacement, fill-in of that window while he's doing the repairs.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the transom window that's over the patio door? Will that be maintained?
That patio door goes from floor to ceiling.
Oh, so the new one goes from floor to
Yes.
ceiling, okay.
The screen door doesn't. Mine doesn't.
You have a screen door.
Yeah.
But you're in building 3?
No, once, but it goes to the, and then. there's the
That'll be
transom.
the next one, the contractor's problem.
Doesn't have to worry about that one.
Well, it'd be nice to know, just in general, what one
Sure.
would do when there's a transom.
Well, and they may need to leave that transom.
Yeah. We'll look at it.
Okay.
The other window.
Yes, sir.
Several of the residents on the third floor, I had their windows tinted years ago. God, I don't, are the windows tinted at all?
No, I wouldn't recommend it, because it is tinted, it's a low E glass.
Oh, low E glass?
Yeah, and you can risk having it break
Yeah.
because of too much heat in it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm one of the units where we have a full window in a closet. And quite honestly, I think we need time to get some things out of that closet before anybody comes and works there.
Okay.
So we get more notice when we have that type of situation.
Is 2 days enough?
That is, but I guess I'd like to get some help.
Okay. Yeah, we're happy to work with y'all. You're paying my bills.
Five windows a day, the maximum, your manpower available.
That's to start with.
There'll be a learning curve.
We may be able to increase.
Does anybody know how many windows there are in the building? It's about 400. 398 windows.
Yes.
Per building?
That's a trivia question for next month's trivia. All right, well, I'll feed that one to Holly for you, and you can get some points for that. But 398 windows, if we do 5 a day, you're looking at 89, I think. And that's working days, so that's not figuring weekends. So we're looking at 3+ months. So yes, everybody up here and everybody out there wants to do more than 5 windows a day, but we're gonna start with 5 windows a day, and we hope to increase that as we go along. If you have 18 windows in your apartment, that's 3.5 days, right? And if it rains, it's 3.5+ days. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
John?
Yes, ma'am.
If I'm traveling when my appointment is scheduled, will someone from Westminster be in there?
Yes, that's our policy.
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
So that is a good question. If there are times where maybe a resident isn't there, will we be able to
You can
access?
contact us and we have somebody go in with them.
Okay, that's good. Yes, sir.
Just so I understand, I'm up on the 3rd floor, so we have a window, and then there's sort of like a bar, and then there's a transom window underneath it. So what you're saying is you're gonna take out those 2 windows, cut that spacer out?
If you look at 4112, if you go look at the windows in 4112, we're not replacing those because those were replaced 2 years ago. That's exactly what your window replacement is gonna look like. First floor will not have the lower window, that's gonna get filled in. Upper floors, you have the very, very bottom window, both second and third. But the upper windows, there's like a little transom, that's gonna be combined into one window now.
And the lower window stays as a separate window, so that horizontal will stay in there.
Perfect.
Yeah, if you, any of you look at 4112, as you leave, you walk by there, you'll see what the window setup is gonna look like. Yes, sir?
The new windows, my apartment and everybody else up on that floor has a large bay window, which is roughly 5 to 6 feet wide, 5 feet so forth.
Yes.
And I was just wondering, will those windows have any mullions in them, or will they just be one piece of glass like it is right here?
They're built as one unit, but it does have a transition up the center as a stiffener. But they came as one.
Because if you're gonna get the 100-mile-per-hour wind protection, you would probably need to have some.
Right. I don't think you get 100 mile an hour up here.
I think code here is 110. 125? Hopefully we don't get those winds.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I know this is another project. More difficult times. But at the end of the project, it'll be very nice. Have a very strong building with beautiful new windows.
Waterproof.
Nice, waterproof, nice landscaping. I just really am sorry that you're going through this right now, but it's something we have to do. We have to fix these buildings.
We've been waiting a real long time to get building 3 and 4, painted, both on the courtyard side and on the other side. Is that coming right thereafter? And is there any way to do the courtyard side first?
Well, the preference would be the window, the preference would be the windows complete first, and then we come in and paint. So,
You're talking about courtyard windows?
Walls.
Were you speaking about the courtyard windows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And walls, yeah, painting. Any other questions, anyone? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will be starting Monday, and we're gonna get a notice out to make everybody aware, because obviously not everyone's here. And mainly the notice is going to building 4, because that's where we're starting. We don't have dates yet for buildings 3, 2, and 1. But we will.
Right, right, and when they cut that,